Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. This is our second webinar for HosmartAI regarding providing you support, how you can apply to our open call, Innovate Call for Tech. This is the link, the time, it's a sharp 11 Central European summer time, so let's start it. I just would like to remind you that, of course, as you could hear, this webinar is recorded. Certain rules that we'll be communicating with you is to follow. Please, if you have any question, post them directly in the Q&A chat box. They will be all answered at the end of the webinar during the dedicated live Q&A session. We will not be taking the direct question. Your microphone and your camera are not working. So please, just any question, you are highly, of course, encouraged, post them in this Q&A box. Just additional information, this webinar is a follow-up of our first webinar that was run some time ago. It is recorded and available on our website. So if you miss it, please check it. We have covered the information regarding the HosmartAI consortium, how you can, what is the main characteristic of the open call. We really went through all of our 5 open call topics, and we guide you through how to apply to the open call. And then, of course, there's also a recorded Q&A session for information. So in case you missed that, please just visit our website, and then you will have it, the whole video. So for today, the agenda is that we're gonna cover basically 2 items. We will cover the aspects of what HosmartAI as a project is looking for to support you in building and designing your application, and then it's a follow-up of open call. So what, since you are perhaps you already applied, or when you're gonna apply, submit your application, what's gonna happen next? So we will guide you through what you can expect afterwards. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we will be taking all your questions. So this webinar is fully dedicated to have that communication and discussion with you, giving you that last moment opportunity as the call is closing in a bit more than a week. So our speakers today, it will be my colleague Martin van Gasteren, Scientific Technical Manager from ITCL, myself, serving as Open Call Manager from F6S within that project. And we have also speakers that will be dedicated and available for your questions during the Q&A session. So this is the project coordinator, Thanasis Paulakidas from that company, Intrasoft, his colleague Makis Karadimas, tech lead, also from that company, Intrasoft, and we have Arctos Meholi, DRI manager from 91. All those experts from the 5 of the topics that you can apply to. So without further ado, Martin, I would like to invite you to take the floor. I will stop sharing so you can share your presentation. Martin, you are muted.
I'm sorry there. Yeah, good morning. So my name is Martin van Gasteren. Thank you, Eva, for the introduction. I will tell you a little bit about our project and the open call. It's a bit of a summary of what we showed in the first webinar already, just to remind and put ourselves on track here. Okay. So the HosmartAI project. This acronym stands for Hospital Smart Development Based on Artificial Intelligence. It's a project funded by the European Commission under Horizon 2020 and runs from January 2021 until May 2024. Okay. There's a large consortium with splendid partners, as you can see. So I'm not going to read this out, but just a quick idea on the vision of the project. We're focusing on the European healthcare system benefiting from technology from European stakeholders, companies, research centers, and so on. And the mission is to integrate digital and robot technologies in healthcare environments and help the healthcare sector of Europe with the implementation of this artificial intelligence and robot technologies. So the concept of the platform we are creating within this this project. So you see a hub on the left-hand side, and on the other side is the implementation area. So in the hub has different parts. The first part is a marketplace, which will be a one-stop shop for applications of artificial intelligence, for data and services and so on. There's a co-creation space allowing companies to facilitating companies to develop their AI technologies and integrate it into the platform. So for matchmaking, collaboration, knowledge bases, and so on. There's a benchmarking framework that helps hospitals evaluate their performance. So after implementing these technologies, they can this allows them to measure how much they would actually improve, which is very valuable information, of course. There's a dashboard, which is the entry point for all stakeholders and users of the hub of the platform. Okay. So then the connection to the application space. From the hub, you can deploy your applications and connect back to this benchmarking, so delivering indicators that help you measure improvements. By means of example, the pilots we run in the project already. I'm not going to go through all of them, just to give an indication of different pilots we do. You see different areas, different healthcare areas that are being covered in different locations throughout Europe. These are all pilots, so yeah, implementing on this platform and helping us to develop it correctly. So the open call. Why do we seek for third-party input? Well, HosmartAI is all about collaboration, so this is extra collaboration that really strengthens us. So, you've seen already the consortium, a large consortium of 24 partners with very diverse expertise, which requires a lot of intense communication over really understanding each other. There's also the relation to the European Commission, of course, not only funding us, also guiding us where to go. There's relationships to different platforms, AI for EU, the IH Hero, there's OpenDay, and some more, which are existing platforms, some focusing on just AI, some focusing more on the healthcare sectors and so on. There's also a relationship with other projects funded by the Commission. There's intense contact with the healthcare sector, both the users and patients as professionals, helping us and guiding us where to go as well. And tech companies. And this is, of course, the relation to the open call. We're looking for tech companies to make implementations regarding our platform. So this would be you. So impact that you as applicant can expect. Direct impact is, of course, the EC funding for your tech solution. Also wide dissemination through the channels of HosmartAI and the Commission. And from our side, of course, we will improve or enrich our HosmartAI platform. On a more indirect level, you will be able to showcase your company to the HosmartAI ecosystem. The use of the platform will help to maintain a certain quality of the solution and coherence between different solutions. And for us, we hope to find additional expertise for HosmartAI. And in the future, so this can be post projects or post implementation of your proposal. There will be a large market potential. Can be a large market potential for your solution. And on our side, of course, it will increase our potential marketplace offer. So solutions we offer through our marketplace. Contributions we expect from the open call. Here is a diagram of our platform, different components. I'm not expecting you to be able to read all this. We can divide it roughly into different areas. So on the top, there's some blocks arranging all the user access, managing all the user access. Top left, there's the marketplace where applications and data and services and so on will be offered. Bottom left, there's the benchmarking. The center are the different blocks that help onboarding your solutions onto the platform, help developing your solutions. And on the right-hand side, there are our own project pilots. So there are 5 topics in the open call, as you know. I'm not going to repeat them all since they were all presented in the previous webinar. I do place them on the diagram. The first topic is focused on the marketplace. So your solutions integrated into the platform. The second and third help the co-creation space. Yet they can be developed independently of this development area. Okay. Yet we will be using them in this area to improve it. Okay. And topic 4 and 5 are directly related to some pilots of our project. Now, for the topics on topics 4 and 5, perhaps 2 and 3 as well, I do expect that some of these solutions can be put onto the marketplace as well eventually, perhaps after the 6-month implementation, and there be promoted and exploited. And so, okay. So that ends this introduction. Thank you very much. Eva, let's go back to you.
Thank you. So just Martin, if you want to stop sharing, and then I will take over. And just please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Perfect. So as I mentioned, now we're going to cover everything what is expected to happen within that not within a 6-month program, right after your application is submitted. So just a reminder, I do hope that all of you that have joined us do understand and have, of course, knowledge about open call, but just a really brief reminder why we are here and what is this open call about. So we are searching for technology. It is an open call we call INNOVATE, call for tech, to develop, bring to our project. As Martin said, we have up to 50,000 euro funding available. And as you see, we are searching for solution contributing to our HosmartAI ecosystem, explained by Martin, and who is eligible. We are searching for the European startups or SMEs as a tech provider or developer role. So I hope that is clear. And then just let's go, what's going to happen right after your submission. So first step, it's evaluation. So we will be checking if your application is eligible, and how we're going to be checking through a lot of several of criteria that I'm going to introduce now. So first, we're going to be checking the legal status of you as a beneficiary. So you have 2 options on F6S application. You can either introduce the valid PIC code number. It's actually a PIC number. That is a special verified number that is used by the European Commission. And if you don't have such number, though we strongly encourage you to apply, because afterwards it's going to be mandatory for the contracting phase also, you will need to upload our Annex 5 SME declaration. And we will be checking if all those information are correct and if you are a legally existing enterprise. So afterwards, we're going to be checking the country eligibility. I will just in a second show you what application from which countries are eligible, though you also this information you have in the guidelines for applicant. Then we'll be going through a check for any double funding or conflict of interest that we may discover based on your application and the connection to the HosmartAI consortium, direct connection, of course, we are talking here. So those parties, of course, are excluded from applying to our call. Then afterwards, your application must be complete. So please do not miss any of the question. Basically, the F6S platform, when there are checkboxes, supports you in that because it will not allow you to move forward. But apart from this, you have an annex, the main proposal, draft proposal to submit, and there is a Word document. So make sure all the answers there are provided. Otherwise, the application can be labeled as non-eligible due to inadequate information provided. So please take care of that. And then also important information, the maximum funding that you can request is 50,000 euro, and you cannot request more because automatically application also will be labeled as non-eligible. So maximum 50,000 K. They will be checking roughly the alignment with the HosmartAI core objective, whether your application is just really in line for what we are looking for. And then a very, very important point, you need to submit your application on time. By no reason, the platform, F6S platform, will not accept any application after the 5 p.m. Central European summertime. So please, we highly always stress that there will not be possible to justify anything by network issues or other technical problems. We strongly encourage you now during webinar and also in the guidelines to really do not wait to the last 5 or 10 minutes, because also the platform will be receiving. It may depend on your, how fast is your internet and many other measures that will not be taken into account in justifying any delay, and the platform will not accept your application. So that would be, of course, a pity if that would be the only reason that you work and it will not go through. So please keep that in mind. So as I mentioned here, again, you can see what countries are eligible. So the first series of the eligibility is, of course, all the EU member states, 27, you can see them. And of course, you are aware of them. Then the countries that can apply must be Horizon 2020 associated countries. Here is a list. You can also find the list on the European Union site. Please do not confuse that with the Horizon Europe program. Horizon Europe is another program that will be, it's a different program with different budgets. So, so make sure it's H2020 associated country. There are some OCT regions, also mainly those additional regions associated with the Denmark, France, and the Netherlands. And we have also eligibility of the United Kingdom, as they did contribute with their budget to the Horizon 2020 framework. So they are all more than welcome to apply as well. So what is the eligibility check result? Assuming that all of the criteria that I just mentioned you pass, perfect, then your application now is shared with the independent evaluators. If any of the criteria that I mentioned you fail on that, unfortunately, that means your application is automatically withdrawn from the further evaluation process. Second part of the evaluation is a remote evaluation. So what we have here, so all the eligible proposals will be forwarded to 2 external evaluators that will be bound by a non-disclosure agreement. That means, of course, all the information that you are submitting are confidential, and we will be, this agreement will be protecting your intellectual property data and your proposal. So those evaluators will be bound to keep that confidentiality. Who's going to be those evaluators? They're going to be independent evaluators with the profiles in AI industrial experience, representing the technology adopter perspective, and having certain business experience. So this is the general characteristic of the evaluators enrolled to this process. And what are the criteria for evaluation? This is also frequently asked questions. So we have three criteria. We will be looking at the excellence and innovation, expertise of the proposed team, and plan and value for money. So let me just go through each of these categories. So in the first one, the evaluators will be looking at your project scope and how you really address one of the 5 open call topics. Then they will be checking the quality, credibility, and clarity of the description of your project. Very important point, interoperability level of your proposed solution and certain innovation degree of what you are proposing, and expected outcomes and impact, and how you will be planning to measure it. Yes, and now we're moving forward. So concerning the expertise, we will be basically looking at the excellence through those 3 categories. So the skills, expertise, and experience. And the last regarding the planning. So the experts and evaluators will be looking at the quality, effectiveness, and the clarity of your project activity, structure, and the timing. So basically all the planning. How you're gonna be measure your progress. So what are the deliverables and KPIs that you are planning to implement, and they will be also checking the cost. So what is the budget that you are planning, how you distributed the expected cost, and how are the resources distributed to the activities that you are planning to do within the 6-month program. So the scoring key threshold, your application will be scored on a scale from 0 to 5. Here, this is also available in the guidelines for applicants, so you can really check it, but important information for you is the threshold. So in each category, you must receive minimum 3 points, which refers to like good results in order to pass this remote evaluation. If you receive in any of the category below, of course, then again, the application is automatically rejected from further process of evaluation. But assuming that, everything went well, you got a nice high score, then you will be invited to the interview, and how that's gonna look like. So how many applicants will be invited? So between 8 to 12 shortlisted applications. The interview will be led by the HosmartAI internal evaluators. Why? Because they will be, it is important, as you can see what will be covered, it's important that they will be checking the match and compatibility with one of the topics that you apply to. But the interview will start with your pitch of your proposed planning sub-project to be funded for the 6-month program. You will be informed about the remarks from the external evaluators, and we as the HosmartAI consortium, we will try to understand how you can, provide some feedback and response to any potential critical points. And then, of course, it's a Q&A session, so opportunity for you to ask a question, and also opportunity for us to clarify further your proposal. You can expect this interview to take between 30-45 minutes, and temporarily it is preliminarily it is scheduled. It will be scheduled in the last 2 weeks of May, but keep in mind this agenda may change. It will depend also on the number of applications we'll receive. So after the interview, we'll be checking all the scores, and then we will be inviting the applicants to sign the contract. So we will follow a consensus meeting with all the scores from the remote evaluation, also from the interview, and based on that, between 4, 5, 6 applications will be selected with the highest score and the highest somehow compatibility to what HosmartAI is looking for. Why up to 6? It will all depends on the budget, the maximum budget that you will be requesting. In total, for the first open call, HosmartAI has 200,000 budget. So it will, if any of the application requests less, then we may have a space to introduce more SMEs working with us, SME startups within the program. And then you will be invited to sign the contract for your 6 months program participation. A draft contract is available on our website, but please keep in mind it may be still a subject to change, but the main core you can read and get familiar with the rules and obligations. So the program. So what's going to be happening during the program, how it's going to be executed. So we're going to start the 6-month program with a kickoff event. So it will be held online. Presence is, of course, mandatory. Then afterwards, based on your topic that you are applying to, an individual mentor will be assigned to each of the contracted beneficiary. And basically the role of the mentor is to support you and monitor the progress of your work, of your sub-project. There will be 3 review processes. So every 2 months, we will be checking how far and what you have developed and how is going your work according to what you have planned. So we will be basically doing this through checking the status of your deliverables and KPIs. During the program, is also expected that you're gonna be taking an active participation in certain activities prepared by the HosmartAI to support you and to promote the work and collaborate and strengthen the collaboration, as you will become for 6 months a temporary third party joining us as a whole community of HosmartAI. So what will be required that you are, of course, available and actively collaborating with your assigned mentor via audio video calls. We may arrange some webinars, online training, particularly for those that will be maybe working closer with the HosmartAI platform or with the pilots. So, and then what is required, so just please keep that in mind. You can also express that in the budget resources planning, that you will be requested to have at least 1 physical presence at our event at the end of the 6-month program. Hopefully the conditions will allow to organize a physical meeting. And the dissemination, very important requirement. So any EU-funded projects like hopefully your are responsible to promote and give the visibility to the EU funding. So you will be in an ongoing collaboration with our dissemination team, and that will be a win-win situation, because we will be, of course, promoting your work and providing opportunities where you can promote and spread the results also of your sub-granted project. So concerning the funding, so very important information. The HosmartAI funding is results driven. So what does it mean? It means that it follows a lump sum scheme to provide payment. So in practice, it means that your funding will be released and is associated against the fully achieved the deliverables and KPIs that you will submit. So that means we are paying you against the positive execution of your deliverables and KPIs. So positive progress evaluated by our internal evaluators, not by the actual cost. So please, if this is something new for you, this is a new payment scheme by the European Commission. In fact, it really facilitates the collaboration. It facilitates and lower the administrative burden and somehow move the focus really on the technical development, improvement, and scientific expansion. So this is definitely a bonus, but if this is the new experience, please check on the European Commission also website to get familiar with that payment scheme. So in that sense, what about the audits? For the audits, you need to keep all the technical deliverables that you will be submitting during the 6-month program. And then, of course, original documents related to the subcontracting to the HosmartAI project. And you are obliged to keep them up to 5 years for any potential audit from the European Commission. So how you will be paid? As you know, the maximum grant that you can apply for is 50,000 euros. So you will be paid in 3 installments, as I mentioned, following positive results of each of the review phases. So here is an example in case you are applying for maximum amount of money. So after each of the sprint, we will be checking the progress. So after first 2 months since you after the kickoff meeting, We will be checking the progress once it is well received. We will be releasing the 35% of the funding. This will repeat after 4 months, so another 2 months, another 35%, and the final review after 6 months of your work. We will release the remaining 30%. So that's how the payment scheme looks like, and that's it from my side regarding what is expected right after the submission. You may have some questions. I will stop sharing now my screen, and then we can take the question in the Q&A, naturally opening the Q&A session. So let me check what questions we have already. So the first question, I will be reading all the questions loud because they will be recorded, and then I will ask my colleagues to support in answering the question. So first question, what kind of interaction is possible within platform between the hospitals and the companies? Many AI solutions, including ours, needs customization at the hospital side to work properly. Rarely is there an application that can be just plug and play for a hospital. Is this facilitated by HosmartAI platform? Who of my colleagues would like to take that question?
Yes, I can take it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for the question. Correct. Rarely there is an application plug and play. Yet we do seek interoperability as much as possible. Platform will provide some tools in that sense as well. Yet it will be inevitable that sometimes adaptation is necessary. So in this sense, on the marketplace, alongside the tool, you could think of a service that can be offered towards the hospitals for this adaptation to the specific case.
Okay, so I understand that this question is already answered. I don't know if it's some more clarity is needed. Just please post another question to Q&A and we will then take it. So I will move forward with another question. The core deadline for presenting proposals is next 8 April. Is there another call coming during the year? Yes, so this call was open already in February, beginning of February. And it's true, we are closing now. This is the last webinar. So if this is the first time you are with us, of course, you have a bit short time to work on your application. But we will have another call in HosmartAI between June and July. But that call will be open for the consortia. So in order to apply as an SME or as a startup, as a leading party, you will need to find a party that will join you, like a hospital or any other provider that you will be working within the consortium for 12 months program. So the details regarding the second open call will be released, of course, right after this call is closed, as this is our main focus. So keep track on our website. But yes, it's in the open call. It's actually quite soon in summer upcoming. So yeah, stay posted. I'm gonna take another questions. For this call, I do understand correct that the scope of item tasks can only be about integration of existing application into the platform. So primarily an implementation plan is expected as opposed to a research and development plan. Martin, is that you could take that?
I can take it, yeah, if you want. Because I understand this is referring to topic 1. With the open to different kinds of solutions to be integrated. So the integration definitely has to be part of the application. Yet in many cases, only integration to the platform will be pretty straightforward. And so that would be a quite simple, low budget implementation. So Probably some development, some R&D will be part of the proposal. Of course, we will look also into the value that we can expect from the solution. So if it is a solution that starts from scratch, that would be a very high risk of delivering something that is perhaps not ready to be marketed yet, with you know, some initial problems still to be solved. Yet, if the potential use of it is very high, could serve many hospitals, or could serve an area that has a specific high need of this solution, then we could consider it. Of course, we will always consider the value, of course, very generic, the value for the money that will be spent on it. So if the impact is very high, we may assume a bit more risk. But in general, I do think that some existing solution, at least that is started from, will be will have some, you know, some preference because of the security that we would have on having something actually functional that can actually contribute to the platform.
Thank you, Martin.
That answers the question.
And just to add, because you mentioned well, a very straightforward implementation may not be aligned with 50,000 budget, but this is like a maximum. So also this is a good, in fact, tip for applicants to, you can still apply, just consider what is the adequate amount of money required, or the amount of resources required for the implementation. You can apply for lower budget than 50K, of course. This is the maximum, and up to you is to define the budget that you need for what you want to do within the 6-month project. But keep in mind that, of course, the visibility of that and adequateness will be evaluated by our external evaluators. The next question, I'm moving forward. So what are the conditions on subcontracting by the SME? So in fact, this call, as majority of the European Commission open calls, we somehow discourages the subcontracting, because the idea is that to support the SMEs, and we are assuming that you do have the skills and adequate expertise and resources to perform the task that we are requesting. Some absolutely minor subcontracting can be discussed and negotiated, but only under the strong justification. So in general, this our open call is not very encouraging any subcontracting for the reasons that I mentioned. But if you have some very specific case, you can contact us by email, explain, and then we will try to provide you with an answer. But in general rules, we don't really appreciate subcontracting. We prefer the SMEs or startups working with their skills and with their team. Next question. Do you favor projects which are aligned to your existing clinical focus areas? I don't know if any of my colleagues could take it. Just from my side, I can say it's a transparent call. And we have very diverse topics, and each of the topic differs a lot, and will be taken equally. The chances of application to each of the topic is equal, but I don't know if my colleagues would like to add something, especially those regarding the pilots, which that's what I understood by clinical focus areas.
Yeah, and I think the answer is no. We do not favor projects aligned to our clinical exit. No, we wouldn't. We would just value the. We look at evaluating the added value for the sector.
Exactly. As I mentioned, the criteria is that the really excellence of your proposal, innovation level, and all the the criteria that were mentioned. And these are the priority, because it is not us, but it will be really external evaluators outside of the consortium evaluating your proposals. Another question: presence of a startup SME with peak VAT number is a strict prerequisite for application. Could organization newly built teams with an applicable MVP apply to? No, unfortunately, this is you will be afterwards requested to sign a legal contract and PIC and VAT number required. So this is mandatory. If you still have time, please do. But this is the legal requirement that we need to obey with based on the funding that comes from the European Commission. And the next question, how much is the funding for Open Call 2? For Open Call 2, if I remember well, it's total 400,000 euro, and I think up to 150,000 euro per consortium. But I'm with whole focus for the Open Call 1, so I need to check it meanwhile. But because you need to build a consortium, the funding per consortium will be bigger. I do believe it's up to 150,000 per consortium. And then you need to divide it between a minimum 2 consortium partners, a maximum 3, and the SME must be a lead partner. So with minimum 40%, if I'm not mistaken. But be patient, because the webinars for Open Call 2 will be coming, and also just keep track on our website. I don't know, Martin, you wanted to add something?
Just confirming that the figures you said were correct.
Okay, perfect. So that's good. The memory is still working well. Another question. For designing and developing a good solution, there will be a need to collaborate with the potential user health professionals. Are there any health professionals who can provide their feedback? Probably this will depend on which topic people will apply, but I don't know. Again, Martin or any of other colleagues would like to take the question.
Yeah, we have some healthcare professionals in the consortium, yet their availability to here depends. I mean, an ad hoc consultation wouldn't be a problem, but if it's really collaborating, evaluating solutions, then it would be preferable that the applicant has their own contacts to involve. I think. Don't know if Person, let's see if you want to add something here. No. Okay, let's take. Okay, yeah, let's put it this way. So, quick question. I think we can forward to our colleagues. But if it's really collaboration, then the applicant should bring in their own contacts, I think. Yes. Okay, thank you so much, Maureen. Let's hope it clarified. Further, do you expect new applications to run in your platform, or just to use some of the features and services available? Do you offer any special platform features for visualization of data? I don't know if this sounds to me like a question to Makis, but also probably Martin to you regarding topic 1. So please feel free, both of you, to just provide some feedback.
So I might have some feedback to offer regarding the second part of the question, the features for visualizing data. We have some parts of the platform that will support the visualization of data as part of co-creation. Someone can use Python tools on Python notebooks that run on Jupyter Hub to visualize some of the data that result as output of the algorithms that run. And we have also some parts of the platform that visualize data concerning the security of the platform and some statistics that would indicate discrepancies. We don't have any further plans for visualizing data. Regarding topic 1, I believe Martin can confirm that, but we don't exclude applications that are designed to run as part of the platform, compared to the ones that are designed to use some of the features of the platform. That's my impression.
Correct, yes, and I understand that regarding visualization, so somebody offering a solution tackling visualization of data that can be used then by other developers will also be a possible solution to be funded.
Okay, I hope that answered the question, but in any doubts, we ask the participant to ask a follow-up question. And now we have a long question, so I suggest also the speakers to really read meanwhile, so you have a clear understanding. So, hello, thank you for the presentation. The technology we are developing can be used on animals as well as on humans. But from what I understand, your expectations are mainly for human-centered solutions. In this regard, my question relates to one of the yes/no questions in your application form. Does the proposal involve research on animals? Does animal research also include the testing of the product, say, observing certain signals without injection into the animal's body? My other question is about the data. For topic 1, the data will be collected by the developers and you will not provide data according to the needs of the project, if I understand correctly. Is that correct? And my last question still relates to topic 1. In case our project has successfully completed the evaluation and has been implemented on the HosmartAI platform, the startup still has the intellectual property, so it can freely use the solution. Is that correct? So we have 3 questions, basically. I don't know who would like to take the first one regarding the ethics. I believe this ethics standards, it's a little bit also the form that we have implemented from the standards of European Commission ethical checks. But I don't know, Martin or Tanas is correct to me, or please add and clarify, of course, if the startup working now and they would be welcome or it's out of the scope of the scope.
So the person who wrote the question is correct. We do favor human-centered solution. This is the project about. If animal research is needed, it should be noted. Now about testing without injection, I don't understand exactly what this is about. So you test the product on an animal, but you don't inject the animal. If you test the product on an animal, it's probably research on animal. It will be, a cream or something that you apply on top. So I think that qualifies, but I'm not an expert on that. They have to justify, right?
I think you should look at the development you do specifically for this call and consider if in the work for the call, the animals are involved, yes or no, and answer these questions accordingly.
I think it's a good, but Martin, if you would like to also take the question regarding the data for topic 1, is that was the data will be collected by the developers and you will not provide the data according to the needs of the project.
Yes, this is correct. Yeah. So HosmartAI is being developed now, and so there are not many data sets available at this point. So it's preferable for the applicants to bring in their own data sets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the other question
it's on intellectual property rights.
Yes, of course you will remain owner of the IP, and yes, you are allowed to freely use the solution. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Next question. We have quite many questions. Can we find more technical documentation on the platform so we can evaluate the costs better? Also, if documentation is available on the use cases which were kept in mind while designing the platform. So we do have the documentation. It was well presented in the first webinar, but I suggest if we can post in the chat the link where the deliverables can be found. And Martin or Makis, please refer exactly which number of deliverable is that and any other documentation apart from the deliverable that we were referring to in the first webinar. So we can definitely highly encourage applicants to study the documents. Maki, so Martin, do you remember the number of the deliverable, and if you could share the link meanwhile in the chat?
I believe the most relevant deliverable is 4.1. That includes the reference architecture of the HosmartAI platform. Of course, there are many deliverables depending on the focus and on the topic that someone is interested in. But for the platform, I believe deliverables 4.1 that includes the reference architecture, and deliverable 1.6 with a conceptual architecture and some of the technical requirements would help.
Perfect. So we can see, Katya, we can see that probably you are trying to share the screen. Yeah, so it's back. Thank you, but that was really useful. Afterwards, maybe we can share. Well, I can afterwards, if we have time, share the website and remind where all the information can be found. But Martin already shared with all the applicants the link, and is writing the number of the deliverables for the reference to check. So I hope we covered that question. Let's move to the next one. If a company wins a call and develops a tool, how the cost for maintenance and support of the tool will be taken care of in the future? Some of the solutions need to be open source, for example. Well, we just started. I do believe this discussion afterwards will be taken also in the contracting and talking about sustainability. But that's my only brief answer that you also have in the guidelines for applicants. But for the further answer, I don't know, Thanasis, if you would like to add something more relevant at this stage, or Martin.
So the partner will be paid in full at the end of the project after the 6 months. Right? And we have a particular requirement that this is maintainable, and if they can clarify that this is in the text of the proposal of the open call in each topic. So if they can take care of that, it will be fine. If they can say that they address that requirement.
Yes, I do believe probably in the future, what I mean, we do have in the guidelines for application that a 12 months maintenance need to be guaranteed. And then above that, probably, you know, it's a matter for discussion, but we are not an enterprise. We are also a project funded by the European Commission. So this would need to be further discussed, and as Thanasis well mentioned. So then again, how many hospitals are on the platform?
This is a little tricky. There are no hospitals in the platform. We have about 6 hospitals where we deploy our solutions for our pilots, but they are not on the platform. They are not, their facilities are not open at this point. So the question about the data set is relevant. Although the hospitals have data, they may not share it with any applicant. So I don't know if they need the hospital to deploy, and they should say so in their proposal, their solution, any requirement that they have.
Yes, that's a good point.
But it should be a standalone, let's say, solution. That if we decide to test it on a hospital, that will be an add-on. But we cannot guarantee that the hospital will use their solutions.
Yeah, it's a good point, and it's also a point that if someone really requires that, maybe it's a good fit the second open call when you, as a SME or startup, you will be encouraged to bring your own health facility as a pilot. So perhaps think about that too. is Swiss Sme Eligible. Yeah, I do believe Switzerland is. We can check there in the meanwhile again in the list of countries. I will try to scroll it, but let me just double check on the list we have just shared with you. I cannot find it now. Do we have Swiss? Yes, Switzerland is a H2020 associated country, so it is eligible. So I'm taking the next question. Hi, sorry, I don't understand really well the platform HosmartAI. What sort of implications have been integrated with the platform? Is it just a business issue, including your solution in the marketplace, for instance, or it implies software development integrations? I don't know if Marquis, Martin, or Thanasis, expert on the platform.
Okay, so it doesn't necessarily imply integrations to the platform itself. As far as I understand, it can be offered through the platform, or it can be integrated with the platform. Well, it's not. I don't understand the meaning of implications in the question. And the question about the business, the reference to business issue.
I would like to ask then the person that asked the question to clarify this in the Q&A chat, if possible, because we agreed we will not be taking the we will not be unmuting the microphone for participants for the reason that is recording and the confidentiality of your data. So if you're gonna add the follow-up in the chat, we will go back to your questions. Because if I'm not mistaken,
maybe we can say that we do offer kind of a business success facilities, like you promote the outcome through your marketplace, and we do offer development facilities for collaboration and using our tools, etc. An applicant does not have to use all our facilities.
Okay. So if that didn't clarify, well, the person who asked question, feel free to ask for clarification. So the next question, what tools are available in the platform for data sharing or benchmarking? Marquis, I don't know if this is probably a question to you.
Yes. So for benchmarking, we have a list of tools such as Apache Spark and Apache Kafka that they are being used. Specifically using the Apache Spark cluster through PySpark. For data sharing, I don't really understand. It can refer to a lot of things. So we don't include something like a data lake. But we have, let's say, a shared space in the as part of the co-creation space applications. For example, when someone uses Jupyter Hub to create a new algorithm, they have shared folders on the virtual machines that other users can also access, and they can also use some common spaces to collaborate to implement code with other users of the platform.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Marquis. Do we have any documents for this benchmarking that are public deliverables that we can refer to the applicants?
I believe there
Mhm.
is, yes. I don't remember the number though.
So meanwhile, if you can check the number of the website, so that would be probably useful also to, if any of Thanasis or Martin is aware, to add that information in the chat for the applicant. I think it would be really useful. But in general, we do encourage that you check all the public resources of our deliverables, and then you can find every of the deliverable has a content list, so you can definitely check and screen the most relevant information for you to design a strong application. Next question, are we expected to elaborate any business model for the later commercial prospects of the proposed product? I can only say one, and then I will give the word to probably Thanasis, that the proposal application, the annex that you need to submit, does have a little bit on the sustainability part. And as you could see, our evaluators will also be representing certain business experience. It is not the key core focus for this call. Nevertheless, there will be some part, of course, if the European Commission is investing and providing that grant, it's great if this can be, further exploitable or have some future. But that I will stop at this point and ask if Thanasis would like to.
I have nothing to
comments
add.
something more
You answered perfectly.
Okay, thank you so much. So now we have, let me see if I missed any question. Okay, no. So next question, are there dissemination or marketing objectives of the HosmartAI project to promote the solution on the platform to hospitals? I don't know, Thanasis, again is a question to you.
So yeah, we have a large variety and quantity of marketing solutions and reaching the ecosystem and reaching end users and reaching all the stakeholders in the healthcare sector, which is a very big part of this project and for this kind of projects in any case. And the solutions will come up from, they will be selected in the open calls, will be part of the, let's say, promotion package, right? Because it will be in the marketplace, we will present, and there will be an event, I think, at some point where we will present the outcomes from the open calls to end users. So yes, there will be some benefit from that as well to them.
Yes, and just to add, and as a reminder, the HosmartAI project we started last year, and we're gonna continue for the upcoming year. So it is just, everything is planned by year. So if you want to understand better the whole HosmartAI in the phases, we also encourage you to look at our website. And of course, if you're gonna be selected applicant, at some point you will become a temporary part of our whole ecosystem, with, of course, all the benefits that comes with the community, access to the community. So, but for any detailed information, you can also check on our website. Here, this webinar focuses directly on the open core activities, but anything regarding the HosmartAI activities as the whole project that can be suitable or useful for any further plans of your application, then please just check our website. Okay, so here is the thank you for the responses. Okay, we have another question. This is my first time hearing about this kind of collaboration. So the question was, we have been hearing that our solution has to be integrated with the HosmartAI platform. So what this implies, and then what is exactly HosmartAI platform? Is a solutions ecosystems, is a software platform, is a business platform for accessing to connection and stakeholders. So a lot of questions regarding the platform itself. Of course, we understand that not every participant of our webinar had a chance to see our previous webinar, which probably could cover a bit of the doubts, the questions, but now we have time, and I don't know, Makis, would you like to take that question, or Thanasis to give the meaning and then go into details? Of course, details within the short time. Makis or Thanasis, who of you would like to take that?
Maybe who can, it's same answer like before. This is the high level answer, of course, right? We can go into more details with Makis. But the answer is that yes, it is a solution ecosystem. It does offer business connections to stakeholders. It offers a wide variety of facilities. You don't have to use all of them in your proposal. Right? You have to use what you need. So maybe it's reading the 4.1, the document with, about the platform, the first document about the platform will be a good point to understand what you can use from that.
Yes, and if I'm not mistaken, as far as I understood, the strongest somehow relation to the platform has only if people apply to open to topic number 1. The other topics have a bit, maybe a bit broad, let's say different scope, not the exact scope of focus. But I don't know, Makis, would you like to still add something regarding the platform?
No, I think the platform has been presented quite a few times so far. So I believe we have covered this. Yeah, and we cannot summarize it in 2 words. So it's what has been presented already.
So we can also refer the applicants on RF6S. When you apply for the call, you have a discussion panel, and there we were posting a selected videos per each of the open calls, and there is also a video posted, probably 10 or 15 minutes maximum video regarding the platform that was explained by our speakers in the previous call. So we encourage you to take advantage, but also you can watch the whole webinar, of course, as well, as I mentioned in the beginning of this webinar, that is available on our website. So I'm gonna move to the other question. Does the budget cover business development activities? I don't know, probably the question to you, Thanasis, I can just only mention the goal and objective of this open call is really related to develop technology or to work or to bring technology that afterwards can be interlinked or not interlinked.
I think you answered this earlier when you said about sustainability criteria, something like that.
Yes. So yeah, it's a bit but it's just not the main focus. It's a part. So just be careful how you're going to be distributing the resources. Just to clarify that.
But we do expect that the core of the development is in technology development.
Yes.
This is a call for tech. Yes.
So the last question, at least in the Q&A box, is it mandatory that the startup SME that will apply for the proposal remains fully dedicated to the final product, or even companies that provide AI-based services, for example, apply for a specific topic number of the open call at an unrestricted base? I don't know, Martin or Thanasis, would you like to take that questions?
And I think this is part of the sustainability as well. If you place a solution on the marketplace, you have to describe in your proposal how you will maintain the application and give support and keep it alive in the future. So this includes this part.
Okay, perfect. So I think that were all the questions we could see in the, let me just double check. Sorry, so another question appears. So 2 more questions. For topic 1, TRL 6 outcome is expected. For instance, technology demonstrated in relevant environment. At the same time, you are expecting solutions aiming integrated in the HosmartAI marketplace. How should TRL, and I don't know, there is no continuation of the question. Do you understand the question, Martin or Thanasis?
So if the question is if you have something that is only a TRL6, which is not a real product, and if that can be included in the marketplace, the answer is yes. This is not a commercial marketplace at this point. This is still a research project marketplace. So who can have things that are not commercial? As part of that, they would be marked as that. So it would be, the TRL or other information about the level of maturity of each item in the marketplace will be part of the market, of the description of the item in the marketplace. I hope that's.
Thank you, Thanasis. And we have the last question. As the tech company, we need some level of collaboration and feedback from an external clinical expert. Can this expert be included in the team, although he is not an employee of the company?
It's up to the if he commits, if they can deliver with their team. It's up to them to, if they can find an S as an expert and he commits, it's up to them to, that's fine for us. We don't check who is employee, who is not, right?
Yes, in the sense that just keep, like the person that asked a question just need to keep in mind that, as I mentioned before, about subcontracting. So in case they have that in mind, it will be difficult to justify, as the expertise must come from the SME, as the goal for this open call, as we mentioned a few times, is the really technology development, bringing new tech to the HosmartAI. So just keep that in mind. But yeah.
If I may, since you mentioned just feedback from an external expert, so it's not really part of the development of the solution, I don't think it will be a problem here.
Yes.
And
yes.
if there's invoice paid to this expert, it would be like a service provided, not really subcontracting. So I think it's no problem.
Yeah, and it can be seen like an advisory board or something that they are working with. So well, I now hope that it was the real last questions. We took a bit more time, but we are really happy and glad that you did actually ask us a question. So we hope you are working on your application and that you will successfully submit on time. We are a bit above the time schedule. So in that sense, if there is really no more question, maybe just for 1 minute, literally, I will just share before we close. I will just quickly try to share, to show you, first of all, our website quickly, where you can find more the information that we were referring to. So here, just information on the project, on the website, where you will have the reference to search for more information. And I will stop sharing. I will just share also one more thing, where we have the frequently asked questions. So here also on the website, we will have the reference in the open calls bookmark, where you can also go through some questions that perhaps you may still come up with during the applying. So I will try to make it a bit bigger and then use that resources to, I think here when we're gonna go to knowledge base, you will not see it because now I think I'm sharing only the one page, although I will try. You should find the deliverables in the knowledge base bookmark. So the deliverables will be there, but I believe the link was already shared. I see some chat. Okay, there are more links are coming. No more Q&A question. So at this point, I will stop sharing. I would like to thank the speakers, participants, everyone for your active involvement. We wish you a successful application. You still have a bit more than a week. If you have any questions, you can contact us via dedicated email, and the open calls that HosmartAI I don't want to say com, because maybe better to post you could see the email that you can contact us throughout the .eu. So okay, now in the chat is the email. Also, you can contact us directly via F6S if you are already starting your application, or also post a question on the discussion board there. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the week, and we are looking forward to receiving your application. Thank you. Bye.